Hey everybody, welcome back to the horribly disjointed Q&A. So by the time I got around to editing part 2 of the Q&A, as it turns out, a couple of the videos were actually corrupted, which rendered the second part incredibly short. So I thought, well, why don't I just fill a little bit of time with answering some questions that you didn't ask? So one of the things that I had come up with was a pet peeve turned hobby of mine, and that is when I see a video that I think is really funny, but it's not as funny as it could be because it doesn't have any sound. Have you ever seen that? You see a Vine or something and it actually is pretty funny, but there's no sound to it, and you find yourself kind of frantically clicking away, wondering why the sound doesn't work, and you're like, wait, there is no sound. Hence, one of my little hobbies was born, and that is when I actually add sound to the videos. Here's an example.
I got soup. Iggy got salad.
Oh my God, Iggy got!
In case you're wondering, no, I have no idea why I'm like this, and yes, I do laugh at that video every single time I see it. So just to fill a little bit of time before the Q&A, I thought I would rapid fire give you some random facts about myself. So in 1988, I once sent a love letter to Fred Savage when I found his fan mail address in a Tiger Beat magazine. I've been to 2 New Kids on the Block concerts, New Kids Magic Summer, and Step by Step. I've been a goth for 25 years. My favorite flavor of Cheeto is jalapeno. My favorite animal is either an octopus or an orangutan. Really depends upon what day you ask me. I don't eat pork. I hate licorice, and one time when I wanted to go to a goth club, but I was grounded when I was about 15 years old, I think, we wanted to go to the Club Subversion. I wasn't allowed because I was grounded, so I tried to convince my parents that they really didn't want me around because I was going to be a pain in the ass by trying to overflow all the toilets by just putting tons of things in it. Didn't work. Dahlia Cockatoo wants to know, what jobs have you had in your previous life and studies? So I've pretty much worked in everything. I was a pharmacy technician. I did kids' parties where I had to put on those big furry costumes. This was before like furries were a thing, but I did that. I worked in Hot Topic when I was in high school. My father had a trucking company, and I ran the office. I did a bunch of things. I did like pretty much everything. Hey Shaker wants to know, what is the purpose of this existence? I was going to ask you. Stephanie Caligari wants to know, Doc Martens or Demonias? Doc Martens. What are some of your favorite Gothic movies? There are, like, in the 90s for some reason, 80s movies were synonymous with goth. I don't know why. I think because we also listened to a lot of New Wave and it played a lot of New Wave. So for me growing up, in the goth scene, I associated things like Pretty in Pink, Some Kind of Wonderful, Weird Science, what are the other ones? Modern Girls, all films like that I associated with the goth subculture. But if we're going to go like with an actual goth movie, Gypsy 83. Such a good movie. Aiden Bass wants to know, would you please come and visit us sun-bleached goths in Australia? One day, I promise, I hope to make it to Australia. Millie F wants to know, what is your zodiac sign? I'm a Libra. Ram29 Jackson wants to know, do you use the New York subways often, and what is the big deal about pizzas? Or the New York pizza. I don't use the subways at all. I hate the subways. And what is the big deal about the pizza? Dude, all you gotta do is try it. Try it and you'll see. When I'll get a whole pie and I have slices left over, I'll freeze them and then stick them in the oven. New York pizza's amazing! Okay. A lot of you want to know if I'm still trying to have a baby. Yep, I am. Yep. I don't know my Myers-Briggs personality type, Samantha. I'm sorry. And I did actually just answer the zodiac sign, but I don't actually know. A lot of people ask me that question, oddly enough, and I've never taken the test, so I have no idea. Oblivious Prime wants to know, is your hair naturally black? Nope. It's dark, but it's not black. Manny wants to know, why don't you have any pets? Who the hell said I didn't have any pets? I have a dog. He's a pit bull, and he's 90 pounds, and he's hilarious. Nocturnal Mum, did you or do you ever feel self-conscious about putting yourself out there on YouTube or the internet? I want to start posting videos on my channel, but I literally hate internet bullying. P.S. You're by far my favorite YouTuber. Thank you. No, I don't feel self-conscious about it. Actually, one of my flaws is I really have to learn to hold my tongue because I don't really care. That's what editing is for, luckily. So if you say something that you're like, you know what, I kind of went a little bit too far there, or you know what, maybe I should be a little bit more diplomatic, you can always edit it. As far as internet bullying, it's always going to be a thing, unfortunately. I've gotten hate comments. I've gotten people telling me to kill myself. I had people threatening to kill me. It happens. And if you're concerned about that, you can always turn the comments off. I would feel really bad if you would limit yourself and not do something because assholes out there try to rob you of that. So don't let people rob you of something that you really want to do. If anything, make a ton of videos. Make a ton and put them on private. And maybe when you're feeling more comfortable, to where you can make them public one by one. But don't let people stop you from doing what you want to do. There are jerks everywhere. I mean, if we lived our lives like that, we wouldn't do anything. Robert Smith wants to know, what is your opinion about the show Hooked on the Look? I noticed that more and more goth people like Parma Ham have been hosted on the show, and yet for some odd reason, not really any of them talk about the music. So if the show wanted to do an interview and show with you, and I think they should, you're like the 90s goth icon of YouTube here. Would you mention the music even though it's a fashion talked about video? I would, because a lot of my style is really based upon music. I mean, if you look at what we wear is an expression of how the music makes us feel. So I feel very connected to, like, fashionably, I connect that a lot to the music that I listen to. But who knows? I mean, maybe Parma did talk about the music in the Hooked on the Look video, but they edited it out because maybe it wasn't, you know, as interesting or fun for other people to hear. So we don't know. It could have happened. But yeah, I think being a fashion-oriented show is probably what they try to focus on. But as for myself, if I ever did a video like that, I don't think I'm extreme enough, unfortunately, to, well, not unfortunately, I like the way they look, but you'd have to be a little bit more extreme to kind of catch their gaze. But if I did, I would definitely make mention of the music, for sure. Bella Knight, what is your opinion on dressing in religious symbols that you don't personally adhere to? Example, crosses, pentagrams, rosaries. I think they look really cool, but I want to know, but I don't know many people who find it highly offensive or to have something that means so much to them be turned into nothing more than accessory or decoration. I think if tastefully done, it's okay, because there are a lot of brands out there that like really go crazy with the religious iconography. I mean, it's like all these conflicting ideologies, like you have the Ankh and you have a cross and you have, like, I mean, there's tons of different things. And I think it could be a little bit excessive. As long as you're not being offensive about somebody else's faith, like for example, if somebody is pagan or they're Wiccan and you're wearing one of those like witch bitch shirts, which, you know, is a little bit gratuitous and over the top and offensive. I think, you know, for example, wearing things like rosary beads for myself, I was born and raised Roman Catholic. So I was, you know, I made my communion, I was baptized, and a lot of my memories of growing up Roman Catholic were a lot of these sort of, you know, I didn't really go to church very much, but we had a lot of functions where there was a ton of kids in my family, so they were all baptized, we had baptism parties, and so for me it's more sentimental than anything else, and not a piece of religion for me, because I'm not Catholic, I don't believe in Catholicism, but for me, the rosary and crucifixes are very sentimental. And it does help that they look damn cool, but yeah, it's more tradition and sentimental to me than anything else, because it just reminds me of my childhood and growing up, back when I had a family. Yeah, literally just cut myself right now. You know, they say when you consistently get cuts on your hands, 1, 2, maybe that's like no big deal, but if you're consistently doing it, it's an omen that you're at the wrong job. And now I'm scared. Robert Evans, what is your opinion on being friends with non-Goths? I like bands such as Sisters Mercy, 9 Inch Nails, Skinny Puppy, Typo, Bauhaus, but I don't really dress rock goth. Most of my friends, the majority of my friends in my real life, are not goths. And I think that anybody who limits themselves to who they're friends with based upon whether or not they're in the subculture, you're robbing yourself of a potentially amazing person that you could have in your life just because you want to keep your life exclusive. And I don't think anybody should do that. So there's nothing wrong with being friends with non-Goths. Thank you so much for watching, and if there's anything that I haven't answered and you really want to know, by all means, ask in the comments and I will happily answer. So until next time, thank you so much. Mwah. I love you guys. Bye.